Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Okay.
There we
Hi,
are.
Jill Wine-Banks. Good
Hopefully.
morning.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me this
Yes.
time.
Yes, we can. And I was saying you have been owed a presidential indictment for so long. Congratulations. We had to have you on
I have been
today.
waiting more than 50 years. What can I
Yes.
say?
We had to have you on today. Well, we were saying we've had this conversation a million times, but had they done the right thing with Nixon, it wouldn't have established this weird precedent that a president is above the law, right?
Exactly. It was due and owing to Richard Nixon because the evidence was clear, the law was clear, he was guilty, there's no question about it, and it should have happened then. He got pardoned, and that killed it. But now, finally, we are taking a step toward justice, and this is only one of at least, I think, 4 steps toward justice.
Yeah.
And maybe more. I would say definitely more because you have the E. Jean Carroll case starting this month.
Yeah. Yeah, which, by the way, is a civil trial, but you never know. This is what happens with Donald Trump, where is it always spins into something more because he normally commits more crimes, generally of obstruction, witness tampering. Were you surprised that these are 34 felonies in the Manhattan?
I'm going to wait and see what they are.
Yeah.
I am very curious as to what the 34 felonies are. It's I can see 11 checks. Those are 11 felonies, possibly. And there's also conspiracy with David Pecker and something about, Karen McDougal, a RICO count. But I'm still not at 34. So I'm waiting to see. I would have thought that they would indict for some of the easy case misdemeanors and then also the felonies. And I say that because the misdemeanor is so clear.
Right.
And so why not go with an easy case that a jury could definitely agree on? And I know that everybody wants a felony, but this is still a Class E felony. It's not the most severe felony. It's an important case.
Can you?
Because
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because if he hadn't gotten away with this crime, maybe it would have affected the original election,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't have been president. So it's important, and it's a crime. It needs to be prosecuted just because it's a crime and he's not above the law.
Yeah. Can you mentioned Karen McDougal. Can you talk to us legally about, we keep hearing the word conspiracy, that's why there are more counts or they're more serious, because it's not just Stormy Daniels, right? We've heard it in Georgia that it's possibly a RICO case. So talk to us about what that means legally, conspiracy.
Well, conspiracy is a more serious felony. It has a longer jail term attached to it. The felony business records are only a 4-year felony. So it is more serious in that regard. It also allows you to put in evidence of your conversations with co-conspirators, and that helps in terms of proving even the underlying offenses. So this seems to be one where he had a long-term agreement, and there may be many more women that we don't know about. We've heard the names Karen McDougal, and we've heard the name Stormy Daniels, who both make Donald Trump look pathetic because they look so much better than he does.
Yeah.
And I think that there may be other women that we don't know about yet. So
Right.
we'll have to, in a few hours, we'll know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Can you, Jill, explain this to us? I'm just reading of the coverage this morning, why it was bumped up to Class E felonies. It's on the grounds that the conduct was intended to conceal another underlying crime. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, could just explain that briefly.
Well, if you make a mistake in your books and records and you record for a purpose, that's a misdemeanor. If you did that deliberately to conceal another crime or as part of committing another crime, that would be a felony. And so, for example, here where you put down that this was legal expenses, and that's a deductible expense, so you save on your taxes. The crime of tax evasion would elevate that to a felony from just being a misdemeanor, because it isn't just a record-keeping error. It is something much more. It was intended to help you do another crime.
Right. So we've already heard, again, I guess we'll find out, but that there isn't going to be, a mugshot or fingerprinting or handcuffs. But isn't that already, giving him special treatment? Because, as I understand it, the reason they say for handcuffs is, they're threatening the judge or the courtroom, which he's done right up until today, right? He's still threatening the prosecutor and et cetera. So talk to us about that, and just right out of the gate.
Well, you're not muzzling him.
Yeah.
If you muzzle him, that would maybe stop him more than handcuffs. I don't think he is ever physically threatened anyone. He has verbally threatened,
Right.
and he is surrounded by Secret Service agents at all times. I think the need for handcuffs is non-existent. I really do. I don't think he should not be fingerprinted. I think he will be fingerprinted. I don't understand why they aren't going to do a mugshot. I mean, that's part of the process of being processed before arraignment, and he should be. He's no one special. He is a
I was going to say
criminal.
the opposing argument would just be that it's fun. Why not? Why can't we do it? It's just fun. We deserve this.
Well, it gives him so many choices. Does he smile? Does he grimace?
Right.
How does he look? I mean,
How's the
all
hair?
of that. How's the hair? It's never good, so it's not going to matter for the mugshot. But it's one of those things. But yeah, I think he deserves all of that. I don't see a need for handcuffs. That just seems unnecessary.
Well, Jill,
there was talk that he wanted them.
What are the chances
He
for a
wanted them because
gag
it would look
order?
bad.
Right. I'm so sorry. What are the chances for a gag order?
Gag order is tough. I think that he's pushing the limit because he has attacked the judge.
Mm-hmm.
He's attacked the DA. He's posted a picture. I think that he may get a warning today, and that if he violates that warning, there will be some restrictions put on him. It's really hard because of the First Amendment for a candidate for president. Any restrictions on him would be very, very serious in terms of the First Amendment. So I think there's going to have to be some serious evidence of his abusing his platform. And
the good news about no gag,
he does it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the good news about no gag order is every time he talks, he seems to admit to more crimes. So if you're the opposing attorney, you're like, oh, good.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean, he was outrageous on the Fox News interview. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Talking about the Presidential Records Act, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know, it was insane. Well, the thing I opened with before we lost you on the phone there is, what about Bill Barr? I was saying that this to me. I'll read it again about that he obviously told the Manhattan to stand down. They falsely gave Vance the impression they were going after Trump themselves. Have no idea why Bill Barr's vile obstruction of justice isn't bigger news. Can you answer that?
Well, Bill Barr is way off track. He also has said that if this wasn't Donald Trump, he would never be indicted for this crime. And that is just total nonsense. Of course he would be. I can't imagine there are at least 20 cases for this kind of crime having been indicted in the last few years. So it isn't a question of if it weren't for Donald Trump, he wouldn't be indicted. In fact, if he weren't Donald Trump, he would have been indicted a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So I think that, Bill Barr is just way off track. And, when he calls this an outrageous thing, it certainly isn't. What was outrageous was his changing the indictments for some of the other candidates.
But I guess my point is Nixon's AG went to prison. Why would Bill Barr not also be able to be charged with obstruction? Well,
he might be able to be charged with obstruction if it gets to that. But so far, his conduct is outrageous. I mean, for example, when he released the Mueller report, it was days after he had already said, no obstruction, no collusion, nothing here, folks. Hard to change that first impression. Outrageous that he got away with that. So I think that, in a way, that was obstruction, but not the kind that's going to get prosecuted. So far he's skirting the line, but maybe he'll go over it. I think maybe he's being careful and could get away with it.
I love your tweet from Watergate to Trumpgate, obstruction of justice and cover-ups always take center stage. Just quickly, because I know we're running long now, is the document case. I mean, this is some unbelievably explosive information, right, that they have video witnesses of him going through the boxes personally himself, obviously obstructing, lying to the FBI. Talk to us about that for a minute.
The case gets stronger and stronger, at least as far as we understand. It was a pretty strong case to begin with. The mere possession is illegal, but then he's told by the FBI, you have these things, you have to return them, and he doesn't. He refuses. So that gets better. And then now you have video, it appears, and testimony that he actually moved boxes and he looked through them himself. And then there was the document by his lawyer at his direction, no doubt. I'm sure that's what Evan Corcoran testified to, that there had been a diligent search and there was no other documents. That's really clear obstruction.
Yeah.
And that'll be a really good case. Yeah. So you have classified information that he shouldn't have had that endanger our country, and you have the obstruction about it. So I think it's really, that's a good case.
Yeah.
And one that should be powerful, but so is Georgia.
Wow.
Where is she? I think that one has to be indicted before the end of April because the grand jury sits for 2 months. And so I think we have to, we'll have to wait and see.
Jill,
but I'm pretty sure it'll be before the grand jury expires.
Wow. I'm sorry I could not find a happy presidential indictment 50 years late card, but thank you for taking time on a very busy, historic day.
Yes.
Talk to you on the next indictment.
Talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Oh, God, I can't wait for that one. Those are going to be big.
All right, thanks, Jill.
Minocqua Brewing Company is excited to partner with Equality Vines to create Choice Wine. Choice Wine comes in 2 choices, Rosé and Sauvignon Blanc. This wine was created to support women's reproductive rights after the Supreme Court rolled back Roe v. Wade in 2022 and caused chaos all over the country. For all you viewers on the Political Voices Network, go to choice.equalityvines.com and type in the promo code PVN to get 10% off on Choice Sauvignon Blanc and Choice Rosé.